Hello everyone, welcome back to the GeekWave. This is the low budget show. It's the show so low it has no budget. And we're stepping back into the world of movies on toys. It's the big craze lately. One movie had to be super successful and now it ruined the game for everybody. Isn't that just the case? But it's fine. It was bound to happen. We were headed this route anyways. We're running out of other IP, really. I say that, but we're not, but we also are. So if somebody's like, I have an idea for Viewmaster, or they have an idea that's just adjacent to Viewmaster, and they slap the Viewmaster label on it, you can get the movie made, fine. You know, it's bound to happen. But I just wanted to look at some of, like, the good movies that we've made into things. Not a lot of them, but we're going to talk about a couple. A couple of things that happened in real time. It's great. But there's a little bit of news to talk about, I guess. I mean, I picked some varying degrees of just news to reference, just things I kind of wanted to talk about on any scale, really. And it's just hard, you know, like the day I'm recording this, just more shit with the WGA SAG-AFTRA, you know, no one's getting their money. Studios are losing more money and they could just be paying these people what they deserve. We could all get on with our days. It's crazy and it sucks. It's also been film festival season. Upcoming weeks in my city, the festival does start. I think I'm going to try to go this year. We'll see how that works. There's a couple of good things that are playing around me, so hopefully that can pan out. Just stalling for time because, I don't know. I'm trying to find my notes app because I don't know where I put the topics for today, and see if we can bring them out here. Here we go. We got them. Couple of topics, things that are kind of interesting in relation to the current ongoing crisis of Hollywood, and just a couple of things that are just like, yay, let's talk about them. So first off, let's talk about this. I think it's interesting, at least. This is like a really, really prominent thing that should happen more, and I think we're going to slowly start seeing it happen more, especially with like no big tentpoles coming out for a while, is the pushing of streaming movies to theatrical runs. So we're all aware of Killers of the Flower Moon. This is Martin Scorsese's latest film. Dude is 80 and he's cooking. This film looks amazing. There's been a couple of screenings. People have said it's great. It looks fantastic. It was always going to come to cinemas. Like, that was always the plan. I'm sure he has that leverage where he could just be like, yeah, we have to get it out there. And I'm sure Apple wants to put it in contention for some awards, and that's always going to be the plan for them too. So this was bound to happen. It was going to have a limited run, just kind of at the end of October. It's going to come to cinemas, just have its whatever, and that's fine. We all know that was bound to happen, and it's good that it is happening. And the new news that just came out the other week is that it's going to have a full theatrical run. It's being pushed into a wide release. It'll come out a week later, so like I believe it's the last week of October that Killers of the Flower Moon is going to come out. But it's an actual release now. Like, it's going to be in the cinemas for a while. They pushed it that far. That's awesome. Same scale too, I believe Sofia Coppola's Priscilla just got a big push too, so that's going to get a wide release. It's great. Like, this is the thing that should be happening more with this stuff. I'm sure Netflix is going to try to do the same with like Maestro, whatever that Bradley Cooper one comes out. I guess we could talk about that for a minute. I wasn't really going to bring it up just because, like, what is it, you know? Maestro, Leonard Bernstein, I fine, I don't know. I know why, like, Cooper wanted to make it, I guess, but to me it doesn't look that good. One trailer, though, it could be genius, but out of all, like, the big award pushy movies from auteurs this year, it's the one I'm least interested in. So that's fine. That'll be whatever, but Killers of the Flower Moon, big release, that's awesome. That's what we're going to see more of. I'm sure they're going to try to do the same for Napoleon when Napoleon comes out, because that looks really good too. These guys, like, it's so weird to think that all of these, like, genius filmmakers are now like 80 years old. They're making some of the best looking movies that we have right now. Are we so starved for, like, good stuff that these guys just make it now? Man, well, that makes you think, doesn't it? Nothing's ever good, is it? You know, damn. That sucks. But speaking of things that are good, we had a trailer for Saltburn. This is Emerald Fennell's new movie. She last worked on Promising Young Woman, which was a really interesting and intense film that had so much going for it. It was so beautiful and fun. I'm glad it won the Screenplay Awards. That's where it should have won. That's fantastic. And her new movie, Saltburn, the trailer just came out for this, and I was blown away. This type of vibe I just love. Just like, look at these rich people being crazy and weird, and just a normal person just like, what am I doing with my life? I love that. That's such a cool vibe. And you got so many talented people in this. Rosamund Pike looks like she's having the time of her life in this, and I appreciate that so much. Like, she has a really interesting filmography, and she's taken some really weird chances and done some really weird stuff. So this looks like it's going to be fun. And Jacob Elordi, like this kid, I say kid, I'm pretty sure he's older than me. He is on a winning streak. I think his stock's only going to go up. Like, he's not like a name, you know, where you have to be like, hey, he's on the rise. He's been popping up in some successful content for a while now, and he's definitely trying to make a name for himself, kind of in like the Timothy Chalamet range, not in like terms of like the roles, but I'm going to do auteur stuff that's interesting, it's weird, show my range a little bit between this and his role here. He's also in Priscilla, where he's Elvis, and people are like, that's an interesting role. And then he's doing a Paul Schrader movie next, which is like, okay, that's cool. Like, the kid's working, and good for him, you know? That's really impressive. And you know, Barry Keoghan is just phenomenal, and he is one role away from an Oscar. Like, that kid, again, I say kid, he's probably older than me. He is just picking projects so perfectly. He is so capable and has so much stock just going up to, like, this feels like a bunch of people about to like hit their peak, where suddenly we're going to put like Barry and Jacob on a new scale, where it's like, okay, we're going to go see whatever they're doing because they're so talented. And this is just a really intense, crazy vibe. And I love it so much. It looks so crazy and fun. I hope it's good. I know it's going to be good. It's because Emerald Fennell's really talented, and she makes some really intense stuff. So I'm so pumped for that. Like, this season, like, we have a lot of really interesting and cool movies that are still coming out in this area. You know, Flora and Son comes out very soon. I'm really pumped for that one. Of course, we got Priscilla, Anatomy of a Fall, Three Sisters, or His Three Daughters, I think is what it's called. Yeah, that's getting a lot of attention too. Like, these movies, we're about to see a huge scope of them, and it's pretty exciting. The end of the year is going to be stacked. That's pretty cool. But I guess just some more like traditional news for what I normally talk about here. I wanted to talk about the Marvels for a minute, because there's been a little bit of just like rumors and reports about this movie. Now, there hasn't been anything confirmed. The movie is still set to come out in November, but there's been, I guess, some scooped information we could take from it. It is supposedly under 100 minutes, and it's all killer, no filler. You just get in, you get out. It's supposedly really funny and goofy, and then it's supposedly just this different piece in the Marvel, you know, lexicon. Now, I've been on a bit of a Marvel stinker lately. I think the only good thing they've done in the movie side of things for a very long time has been Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the only one I'd say should get an A rating. But if you tell me that we're doing 90 minutes of 3 cool female characters in the Marvel Universe just having a bout where they're swapping bodies all over the place, going to different stuff in an intergalactic sci-fi adventure, my mind goes to, oh yeah, we're doing some expensive schluck with some cool actresses, and that's exciting. If that's true. If this movie turns out to be 2 hours and 10 minutes, I don't really care for that. Like, we don't need to see this story take that long. They are swapping places. They find a way to fix it. They fight the bad guy. We get out. That's awesome. Like, if that's like easy and breezy, ooh, that'd be nice. Because that's just kind of what I want. I want to see some badass ladies in space, kicking ass, taking names. I don't want to be forced to sit there for so long. This is a really cool idea. I wasn't the biggest fan of Captain Marvel, the movie, but if the Marvels is everything I'm hearing about it, this has the potential to be the best thing Marvel's produced in a very long time. We're in, we're out. There's your story. Why waste time? Nia DaCosta has been talking about the movie for some stuff, and I think she'll be okay no matter like how good it is or how the reception goes. But it's just kind of nice to see that we're doing something that's different here. I say different loosely. All Marvel movies are goofy, but if we're just doing a straight up baller comedy, if we're doing something that's going to invoke Barbarella for me, like that's a win. That's all I really want, is just something that makes me smile. I hope that's this. I don't know if it will be, but it could potentially have the balls to do it. I hope so. We got a little bit more pieces of news. This one's kind of interesting. I wanted to bring this up just because it's something to think about. There was like some reports that came out about like the top streamers, who's doing the best at what, like who's doing the money the right way. But it was also announced that Tubi, are you familiar with Tubi? It's like the ad service. You don't have to, it's free, but there's ads on it, right? I'm not familiar with it. I don't use Tubi, but it has like reportedly reached like 74 million monthly users, which is like up from 64 in February, which, hey, there's one lesson to take away from this. It's that people are willing to watch ads if things don't cost money. When we have this platform that is just having these great numbers for this type of content. There's more content on here than I'd say there is on other streamers too. It's crazy. It's actually crazy that this is happening. And everyone's like, no, man, streaming was the future. And now Disney Plus is like upping their price to like $15 a month. And you just see like it's free. You have ads. You can watch all of Columbo if you want or something. It's like, that seems worth it to me. You know, when I look at like all of these like programs that I'm paying for streaming, I would pay the $15 a month just so I could have The Simpsons and Futurama and like the Matt Groening, Seth MacFarlane stuff in one place. But the more I do stuff, the more I'm like just renting things on Apple, you know? I'm currently going through a rewatch of the Sofia Coppola films, and they are not on any of the major streamers, so I'm willing to pay the extra money just to watch. It's $4 for me to rent a movie, just watch it then. I'll do that, you know? And you have things like Pluto TV, which is also in like this list I'm looking at here, which it reportedly has 80 million active users, which is insane. That's really impressive. And I think this should be the trend. Like, less money, ads are okay. It's almost like TV was working in the first place, and the promise of streaming was an illusion that was made to sell you on something that was never going to happen. You know? Weird, isn't it? It's crazy. I don't know. I'm looking here. Tubi boasts a content library of over 200,000 movies and TV episodes and a bunch more shit like that. And they have original titles there too. That's great. What's the one that Weird Al movie was on? That was Roku, right? Yeah, weird. But you know what? That's amazing. Like this impresses me more than any number I could hear about Amazon or Netflix or Disney or Apple, where it's just like Tubi, the little engine that could. You can watch whatever you want on there, and you just get it. And I'm like, yeah, probably, because people don't want to pay for shit, you know? If you're going to have to pay that much to watch a movie, it's like, come on. It's dumb. TV was working in the first place. I don't understand why people think it wasn't. It's crazy. Streaming's a lie, and it deserves to fail. I don't know. I don't want it to fail, but I think if there's going to be like a change in it where it's okay, here's the amazing thing about streaming, and this is just like why it's wrong. The most success you see for like a streaming show is when you release the episodes weekly and you have a lower budgeted like service that has ads involved, which are just things that TV does normally on a cable box. So what is streaming if not the illusion of good television? I don't know anymore. Everything's bad. It sucks here. But we're not done. We got one more piece of news to talk about. This one's just kind of like to wrap it up because I just saw it right before I started recording. And I thought it'd be really fun to look at. You know, something different, something interesting to take a look at. This is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, a movie I've talked about on this channel I've done a review for. I remember when it came out, I was super excited to see it, and I really liked the movie. It's dumb, it's goofy, it knows exactly what it was doing, and I think that's what upset people, where it's like, this is stupid and dumb. Like, why would anybody want to see this? Because it's Winnie the Pooh killing people is why they want to see it. We just got our first look at Tigger in the upcoming Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, which is releasing in February. And that's great, get it out there. I really liked the first one. Oh, I say really liked. It was good and I understood it. And now, like, it's so crazy to, like, get excited for this, but, like, the biggest absence from the first movie was Tigger. We were aware of what happened to Eeyore. Eeyore was eaten by his friends. Piglet is now dead, if I'm not mistaken. So Pooh is still wandering. So now there's Tigger out here. We also don't know what happened to Rabbit or Owl. Those two are still left. Or did they die? Did Pooh kill them? I know they all killed Eeyore, but did they kill Owl and Rabbit too? I don't know. Either way, Tigger's like a sadistic looking tiger. It looks so good. Oh, it's the same costuming. It looks a little more intense and gritty, but yeah, I'm sold. Whatever this movie's going to do, I'm there for it. Like, it's so stupid. Oh, it's so stupid. I love it. What a dumb thing. And they're like mutants. They're like mutated creatures because they're cannibals, but they don't like move their mouths and they can eat you. Oh, it's great. It's great. Like, that's what we're doing here. I'm having the time of my life. That's going to be it for the news, guys. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Good shit. It's good shit. It's good shit. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, let's talk about some toys and some movies. There's a new craze in Hollywood, and it's all because of a little film called Barbie, one of the most successful films in the history of cinema, one of the best films in the history of cinema, too. It's like the one only good one of the things we're talking about today, which are movies based off of toys. Yeah, it's the only good one. And here's the thing. Hollywood, you're always going to learn the wrong lesson, Right now, Hasbro's like, we gotta make the Nerf movie work. And you're not really thinking that that's a stupid idea and you shouldn't do that. Because you're dumb and you don't learn your lesson because you're stupid. And Mattel's already like, we got things going for days. Hot Wheels, Magic 8 Ball, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Masters of the Universe. What if Lena Dunham did Polly Pocket? Question mark. What if that happened? Would you be interested? Mattel's shoving it down your throat. Do you want this? Do you want to see this? What if there was a bad Barbie? What is a Polly Pocket movie? I know we talked about this a bunch. I'm going to talk about it some more because what else are we doing here? What is a Polly Pocket movie? I guess you could do like some Lovecraftian horror where you're like living in a pocket universe that's like actually in some girl's like purse or something. And it's a terrifying thing to exist, but what are you doing if it's not that? I don't know. It's terrifying. It's stupid. It's all stupid. It's all stupid. But we're going to be making these movies forever. Because Hasbro's got their own division. Mattel's got their own division. They're just not going to stop. We're never going to stop. But we should stop. We can't do this forever. But we can and we will. And I have a list. I'm looking at the Wikipedia because, God forbid, I put any effort into this. I just think it's very interesting that we're doing these. And there's some of them that I'm like, do we really need to talk about? The animated movies from the 80s, which is just to sell toys anyways. I don't really want to bring those up because you already know what that is, That's so obvious. It's so on the nose. It doesn't matter if we talk about them. They're stupid. They're pointless. But we could talk about everything else and everything in between. Because that's kind of fun, right? There's a couple of things here, right? Is there? I don't know. Nothing good. So let's start with this. Do we want to talk about the American Girl movies? They were just straight to video. There's a bunch of them. They're just, what if the doll was like a person? They don't matter. I don't want to talk about them. You already know what that is. Holy shit, they made like 10 of those things. Why? Were they successful? I guess they must have been. I don't know. That's crazy. I don't understand that. But it doesn't matter. American Girl. I think that was on the list of stuff that Mattel wants to reboot too. Like actually make that into like a franchise. Which to that I say, isn't that just like the story of like a girl? Are you just making like a movie about girl? That's weird. Cause just like make something else then, you know? Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret did not do well at the box office, but it's a good movie. So, are you just gonna do like 100 of those, and then like the girls all go to like the same school or something, and they meet up for like the American Girl like friend? I don't know. It sounds dumb, but if you like those, there's like 10 of those movies. They come out like once a year from 2004 to 2016, so that's great. Here's like the first big one that we have to talk about because it's just like a bizarre thing that happened very recently too in 2012. I guess that's not really recent, but do you remember Battleship? Remember Battleship when they did that? When Hasbro's like, actually, we have like a game that could be like a movie. We have that, you know? Battleship, that game that nobody really likes to play, but we all play it anyways because we're bad at things. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This was about aliens, wasn't it? I don't remember seeing it. It's a Peter Berg movie. He made Battleship. Oh my goodness. That was right in like the era where Taylor Kitsch was like the guy and we're like he's going to be good. We have him in Battleship, folks. Don't worry. He's going to be fine. And then nobody saw this movie because what is it? It was nothing. It was a weird movie. I think they did fight aliens. Why? You're on like a thing. It's like what if Top Gun went bad, you know? So it never worked. Right there. The first big one on the list. That's a bad movie. And nobody liked it. And then you have Bratz the movie, which was just what if Bratz but movie. And I guess that's something. The Bratz are just kind of do kids like Bratz today? Do they still make Bratz today? I don't really know. But I look at the Bratz and I'm like, yeah, you know, what if like annoying Barbie? What if like we yassified Barbie to the point where they're just ugly and annoying and stupid? That's what it is. That's what Bratz was. It's like edgy, you know, Barbie that like sucks. Or is it cool? Is Bratz cool? Am I being like hard on Bratz for no reason? Not my cup of tea, you know. But it's cool, I guess. Am I looking at like what am I looking at here? I'm just looking at Bratz now, but they made a movie of Bratz. I guess there's actual like, you know, characters in Bratz, so that's fun. But it didn't do good because we'd still be trying to make them, right? Like it kind of died down. I guess like also that like era where we get four girls and they're having a good time at a school or whatever. We kind of stopped doing that because those all went to TV. But nobody remembers that movie. So there you go. There you go. That failed. Clue. Remember Clue? Yeah, Clue was fun. Clue's one you could do. And if you wanted to have like a fun idea for a Clue movie, again, if you wanted to make another Clue movie, I don't know why you would. You could have different regions of the world have different endings to the movie, and then you could figure out like what's the real one or whatever you want to do. Clue, that's a good idea. It's a good movie too. I like Clue. Because it's like, yeah, that's actually something. You can take those characters and that concept and just make a whodunit movie. And that's easy. And it's a good one. It's a good movie. No, Barbie's on the list too. I don't feel I need to talk about Barbie. It's the only good one. Everything else we're going to talk about is pretty bad and pretty uninteresting. But Barbie was the winner. Maybe because it was like an actual idea and not just ripping on IP. Next on the list, folks, is the series of Dungeons and Dragons movies. I feel like we could do a whole video talking about those in of themselves. They're fine. You know, I think the first one had its audience. It's like, that's kind of campy, kind of cool. I don't know. Do people really like them, though? I feel like they just kind of like fell and didn't really become anything. Like those first three movies, on Honor Among Thieves, which found its audience, is a good movie. The new Paramount one is pretty good, but again, this is not like this big franchise that's for everyone. It's very interesting like what we try to do and like what actually sticks when we do like a fantasy or science fiction television show or movie, what is the general audience willing to accept? And it never feels like Dungeons and Dragons has reached that. It still has like that really cliched like nerd cachet where we can never escape what that is. And I don't think it's ever going to escape that. It's got its devout audience. No matter what Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro wants to do with the property, it's still going to be stuck in that rut somewhere. Maybe it'll escape, but I have no doubt it will. Why would it? Gem and the Holograms. Another one of those Hasbro properties where they're like, yeah, girls like girl movies. Gem and the Holograms. Not this generation, folks. Nobody saw that. John M. Chow made that movie? Really? Wow. Why are all these guys making these weird Hasbro movies? I do not understand that. I couldn't even tell you who saw that movie. I did. And I don't remember a thing that happened in Gem and the Holograms. If you want to reboot that, you have to stick it in the 80s. It has to be like, we're doing that vibe. Because you can't do that as... Actually, you know what? Now that I say that, you could do like a Gem in the Holograms, but it's like a K-pop thing, right? I guess that does work too. Maybe we're like re-entering the era where that aesthetic could work. Fascinating. But 2015 was not the time to do it. Another movie that failed miserably. Like the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Yeah. Were those toys? I guess. I don't know. What if like ugly things just existed in the real world? You know, like what if the Smurf movie but bad? And the Smurf movies aren't good. Why do I keep like shitting on Smurfs? I don't know. I like Smurfs. But the Garbage Pail Kids movie, it's a good time? I don't know. It's definitely one I do want to talk about on Movie Tales at some point, but you couldn't for the life of me convince me to do it right now at my point in my life because I'd cry. Let's talk about this one. This is technically from a toy license, but it's also been... No, I guess it did start off as like a toy license with like the original toy, the G.I. Joe movies. We've made 3 of them. Can you name them all? Probably. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. What if Channing Tatum was a G.I. Joe? What if that happened? Turns out it's pretty good. I think, here's an interesting take I'll have. That first G.I. Joe movie, really good, because it's just a huge, stupid toy commercial, and everything looks over the top and crazy, and it's insane that we made it. And then Retaliation is just bad because it's just Dwayne Johnson, like, trying to be... It's right in that era where he's starting to take over and be the guy, and Bruce Willis shows up and annoys everybody, and we don't have anybody back from the original one but Snake Eyes because people like Snake Eyes. He became the breakout star, which I get. And then in 2021 there was the Snake Eyes movie. What if it was an origin for Snake Eyes and like the relaunch of the G.I. Joe franchise? But it was a pandemic and nobody saw it but me, and it was just okay. I don't love how they portrayed Snake Eyes. It did feel kind of like, what's going on? What is all this? You know, who cares? You know, he should just be like a ninja guy. And I guess like the origin of him and Storm Shadow having a falling out is fun. But the G.I. Joes already exist, so like who gives a shit, you know? It does have like my favorite way to like give a character a name. So like people remember like this is a character you should remember. It's like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad levels of great? When like one of like the antagonists goes up to the guy that's going to become Storm Shadow and they're like, that's the look of the shadow before the storm. I'm like, yep, that's the best way to make a name for a guy. Just saying that stupid thing. And it's so good. It's so good. I love it. Mars Attacks, I guess it's kind of based on a toy. Sure, if you want to believe that. Masters of the Universe, what if, we went to Earth and it was just dumb? It's a fun movie. Look, I don't have any problems with the 87 Masters movie. It does feel like we're going to try to reboot that eventually. And I say do it. Like, why not? You can't do any worse than what this movie did because it's the stupid trope that kind of became like the standard for anything that's based on like an 80s IP. What if they just came to Earth and like lived there, and like how would like a fish out of water react to seeing a pizza or something? And I guess that's funny for a minute, but then it's not funny anymore. So that's fine too. I don't know. Max Steel, you remember that? Remember that fun toy where it's like, what if we ripped off Iron Man? And then they made that into a movie, and then it was just like, nobody saw it. Ouija. There's like, surprisingly, the Ouija movies are fine. I think Ouija is an okay movie. It's another Hasbro one. Ouija Origin of Evil, a surprisingly good take on that franchise, because it's Mike Flanagan. What is he doing over here? Why is he doing the Ouija movie? That's so strange to me. I guess you gotta get your chops in somewhere, you know? But they're fine. Like, of any Hasbro movie, they're like the best ones. They're not good, but they're just like an idea, you know? So mad props to that. I guess we do kind of have to talk about the Transformers because they're kind of based on toys. You know, they're fine, I guess. They're just like, we made movies and stuff, and they were okay. I already did a whole video talking about the Transformers movies, and they're not good, but they're fine. They get the job done. They've pleased an American and international audience, and at the end of the day, what more could you hope for, right? As long as they got their happy ending, fine by me. And those are the live action ones. And in that list, I'll give you 2 movies that are probably worth talking about and watching. The Barbie movie and Ouija Origin of Evil, because it's a Mike Flanagan joint and he would go on to become the king of horror on television. Everything else is just fine or not good at all. Who cares? So here's some animated ones. There's like a billion Barbie movies that are straight to video. I don't want to spend too much time on like the direct to video stuff because I got things to do with my life. There's like 12 Barbie movies released every year. You know, I don't need to talk about that. What we do need to talk about though is the Bionicle movies, because Bionicles are cool and it's a fun concept and a fun toy line. And I was just talking about it the other day with somebody. What a cool concept. That's the kind of like boys toy I like. What if you just built like a guy that looks like a freak and there's actually like a lore to him? That's my kind of stupid shit. I love that. And those movies, I haven't seen them in a while, but I have seen all the Bionicle movies, and I will say, they're fine. They're good. They look fine. I like them. You know, all American rejects. It's cool. There's animated Bratz movies. Hooray, we know that already. Animated Care Bears movies. Yay, we know that already. Familiar with that? I guess like this list doesn't have Monster High on it. There was a Monster High movie that came out a couple years ago. It was on a Paramount Plus thing, so it wasn't a big deal. And I think it's like that brand has kind of shifted to becoming more than just associated with the toy. But that toy line is great. I think the Monster High toy line is really fun. It's a really cool concept because like it's still in like that Bratz and Barbie era where it's like this is a girl doll, but it's also like it's gothic and scary and weird. And look, it's the creature from the Black Lagoon. And that's like a cool way to introduce kids to those concepts and those characters. I'll always commend the Monster High line for doing that. It's really cool. It's really fun. Hot Wheels. There's a bunch of animated Hot Wheels movies. Were any of them good? Probably. I don't know. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, why are we making a live-action Hot Wheels movie? Because why? Who cares? Now, here's where things actually get interesting, because this is a property that has proven itself to work. The Lego movie. I think every Lego movie is a little bit fun, a little bit interesting, kind of creative. The first Lego movie. A great meta-textual narrative about like what does it mean to be special, how is mundaneness gonna like empower you, and then it's like what if Warner Brothers just played with all its people at once? Woohoo! Look at us, Batman's in it. Yay, we're having fun. And then the Lego Batman movie is a good Batman movie, and it's a really fun concept with great characters. It told a really compelling Batman narrative that we don't get to see much in live action, and that's something I will support always and forever. That's a really cool thing to see. And I even think the Lego Ninjago movie was pretty good. You know, it's a fun one about like found family and lineage and stuff, and just had a good time with it. Really fun vibe. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Lego 2, the second part, just because it kind of felt like a mixed narrative of like growing up and stuff and not really finding its footing yet. But I will say, great voice casting in all of them. The animation for all of those movies looks fantastic. They really figured out like their niche and they ran with it, and that's a really impressive and cool thing to see. Makes me happy. I support that stuff. Looks great. Was awesome. Lego movies are fantastic. I'm amazed we haven't had one for a while now. But I guess, I don't know, I guess there's other stuff they want to work on. There was also like the My Little Pony movies that came out recently. There was the one that went to the theatrical run, which was just the My Little Pony, the movie, which I heard fine things about, you know. I'm not a brony by any stretch of the imagination, but I do understand the appeal of this property. If somebody wants to clip that and use it out of context, I'll let you do that because I'm not going to argue with you. But that's kind of fun. I do understand why people like this. Not just young girls. I understand like the community, the whatever, you know. There's something there. Like ponies are cool, you know. They look fun. I don't know. I get it. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter because I don't want to dwell too much on that stuff. Playmobil. Remember Playmobil the movie? What if we ripped off the Lego movie, but we did it worse because what's Playmobil? I don't know. What is it? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know what it is. Quit asking me. I don't know. What is it though? Like, what is that? I know what it is, but I don't know what it is, if that makes sense. What other ones do we got here? Nothing really interesting worth talking about, you know. Toys kind of just come and go all the time, whatever the hit. A lot of it's just become like straight to DVD shit. Here's your, you know, Shopkins movie. Here's your Rescue Heroes movie. But the Rescue Heroes are cool, so I'll give them that. It's a fun toy line. I dig that. Rainbow Bright had a movie. Who cares? I guess Strawberry Shortcake. Does she have a theatrical release movie? I guess. No, she didn't. Oh, she did. Why? Oh, there's episodes of the show that were released theatrically? That's weird. But good for her for making that landing. All right, let's talk about this. The Trolls. There, we'll end on Trolls. The Troll dolls. You remember the Troll dolls? They were ugly and stupid. What if they were cute and Justin Timberlake? And then we got a movie out of that. And the third one's coming out this year, Trolls Band Together. Do you get it? The boy band coming back together. Trolls to Men, what was it called? Something stupid? Troll Zone? I don't know. It's dumb, but I like it, you know? If you're going to make a Trolls movie, just make it like a non-offensive musical, whatever. Get your freaking Bruno Mars song in there and just leave it in the corner. And I'll go watch it if I want to, but chances are I'm not, and I don't care to. But I'm glad it's over there, just vibing in the corner. I don't need to have it up in my face, so I appreciate it existing away from me. Yeah, not a lot of good ones in here either. There's not that many, like, they want to make these so bad, but there's only like a couple of good ones, like Barbie, Ouija, Origin of Evil, the Lego movies, and I'd say 2 of them especially you could do. And I guess the Trolls universe is successful, but there's not enough in those to like make you want to go, yeah, finally. It's the time for Viewmaster. You know, like why? What was the string that was pulled to make people want to do these? I don't understand that. It's so basic and lazy, and we should stop. And that's just like the real toys of the real world. There's a bunch of other fictional toys that have movies on them, because we could have just talked about small soldiers and Toy Story all day, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do a Monster High rant for a minute because that's more interesting. No, they're all bad. Everything's bad. Everything sucks. And we're not going to have any good movies again. I really hope we don't franchise Barbie because I don't need more of them. We had one perfect Barbie movie. We leave it there. The world's a better place. Can't get any worse. Which one's your favorite? Out of all these toy-based movies, do you like Battleship? Is that your go-to? The Garbage Pail Kids movie? Are you a fan of Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe Origins? If you are, you're lying. Because the only good part of that movie is the shadow before the storm. Something nobody has ever said in their life. I love that for that movie. So that is going to do it for this episode of the GeekWave. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.